I ended up on Talk.Origins, and I found myself in conversations with Christian extremists, Reconstructionists, who were bragging that they had that their minister had been on the phone with all of these other ministers across the state, and they were collaborating to make all of so that the ministers would tell their entire congregations to vote as a block for certain candidates so that they could manipulate and instate evangelical or extreme radical Christians to every position in government, from dog catcher on up. And the goal that they were confessing to me was to was a couple of years later. It was detailed in the Wedge document, where the whole goal was to put evangelical Christians in every level of state and federal government for the purpose of having a court case that challenges evolution, because the first goal was to attack science, so that nobody trusted science anymore, and if they didn't trust science, then they would be susceptible to superstition. And then they were planning on, it was their 5-year plan, that they would have a Kitzmiller versus Dover type trial, in which they predicted that there could be a conservative Christian Republican judge, and there was. But they expected that judge to rule according to the bias of his religious convictions, and that didn't happen.
And he didn't.
So that was a big surprise to the Reconstructionists. But the way they explained it to me was that, excuse me, this is a baby snake. This is the first time I'm handling her, and she's mad.
I thought you were trying to do a Garden of Eden motif there.
She's not having
the way they explained it to me was much like when the villain explains to the hero what their whole agenda is, what their whole plan is, when it's supposedly too late for the hero to do anything about it. That's how I felt. They were bragging about all these judges and senators and so forth that they had already positioned, and that this was just going to happen and there's no way to stop it. And these people, they were Reconstructionists, so they were following after R.J. Rushdoony of Chalcedon Institute. So they were naming all the senators and stuff that came from Chalcedon, that were Reconstructionists, that wanted to establish a government that enforced Levitical law. If you think Sharia is bad, look up Leviticus. So here I am thinking around about Y2K, little harmless old me. I'm trying to figure out what the hell can I do to stop my entire country from going down the fucking toilet this way. And the only thing I could think to do was initially argue with these people online, because I mean, somebody's got to at least say something, right? And then eventually I honed my arguments at Talk.Origins, and then got a hold of YouTube and made a channel out of those polished arguments, and then just continued from there. I don't know if we're having any successes, though. I just did a series on our recent our new Speaker of the House, and what a batshit crazy wonderbug this guy is.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh, Ken Ham's very happy about it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind how they can be so open about it. Like, I understand the Wedge document was leaked, but still, it's right out there.
Shameless is the word. Yeah, they don't even know that what they're doing is wrong.
Some of them.
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference in operational philosophy. There's the money motive, but also there's this perception. Most people consider rules are there to be followed. You're not supposed to break the rules. I think it's Scott Meyer makes a basketball analogy. In basketball, you can get 5 fouls before you're ejected from the game. So most people try not to get fouls. But then there's this other group of people who read it as though you can get up to 5 fouls before you actually have consequences. So if you're not fouling people, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of spooky how that mindset works.
The problem I have with this is that the people who say that they're all about personal liberty, right, want to deprive me of mine.
Yeah, and a lot of women of theirs.
The people who identify as the Constitution Party, the Constitutionalists, the ones who don't want to defend the Constitution, and they are actively undermining various aspects of it, in particular the First Amendment. And by that I mean not just the first 2 clauses of the First Amendment, but every single provision therein. And I have a problem with this. I mean, when you say that you're for defending the Constitution, and then you, in the second breath, say that you're going to throw it out.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Entirely.
We need biblical law. Oh my goodness. I've seen so many video clips, and thankfully it's not strictly party lines. I've seen the United States is a mess, folks. I've seen Republican senators argue against other Republicans when they try to propose a Bible-based law. And there was a famous one that was making the rounds not long ago. It was a state level law where the teacher wanted to ban the teaching of gender, period, in all school curricula. And
what, is everybody supposed to wear the same monochromatic uniform?
well, the one senator who was a Republican asked her, under this law, if it passed, how would we teach students about Martha Washington? Like, what are we supposed to say? And she hemmed and hawed, and she didn't have it. She hadn't thought about it because they never think of the consequences of their actions. But
yeah. So recently,
we do digress.
Yeah, recently I want to make a video on this, like today. I really want to make a video on it right now. There was a monument or a shrine in the Iowa State Capitol to Baphomet that was put up there by the Satanic Temple. Now, of course, for the Christmas holidays, they put up all of the Christian stuff, and then they put up the menorah up there too, because they're going to respect the Jews. At least pay lip service to respecting the Jews as long as they're useful. But it doesn't become an issue of secularism until the Muslims want to get involved, right? When they want to put up their thing. And then, of course, you don't have an option for the non-belief. What's that? So you have the Satanic Temple that puts up their alternate. And so if we're going to respect the First Amendment, if we're going to say that you're going to give credence to religious freedom, give credence to religious freedom, allow that we can other people can have different opinions or whatever. But of course, the current culture politically is not about that at all, is it? It's about dominance. It's about subjugating everybody else. So that if you're not white, you're not male, you're not Christian, you're not straight, whatever, and then you're a second-class citizen, and you are to be dominated. And anything that if you think for a moment that other people might have issues or fewer privileges and more concerns because of their demographic, well, then that's woke. And that's like somehow that's having compassion for other people that have problems you don't have. Somehow that's bad. And not only is that bad, it's the worst thing ever.
It'd make you too much like Jesus.
The real Jesus, and not the one they think of. Yeah, not Republican Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So now some guy, some Christian failed congressman, just ran for Congress, didn't get it, but he goes into the Iowa State Capitol, destroys the monument, and of course the Christians are thinking he's righteously supported, so they're raising all this money for him. And Ron DeSantis says that he's gonna fund the legal campaign to protect this Christian's right to destroy religious monuments. So Ron DeSantis is admitting that he advocates the vandalism and destruction of religious monuments, and that he does not respect our constitutionally guaranteed freedom of religion. He does not respect the Constitution, but he does respect vandalism. He does advocate for vandalism of religious monuments.
Yep, as long as they're not his.